saying, "Come with me,"
What?
while reaching his...
I'm not coming. Pause. Stop! No. Right. Okay.
It was early December. I was at home this night, spending my day off inside by the fireplace. It was way too cold and snowy out for my liking. I did a bunch of things around the house that needed to get done, but otherwise, it was a relaxing day. I had the news running in the background, listening to how high winds and possible blizzards were to be expected starting tonight. By 5, I was already starting to notice it getting worse outside. I sat on the couch and turned on a different channel. Around 7 though, I could hear wind slamming against the house, and it really did sound like there was a blizzard. I got up and went to the window facing the backyard to see how it looked outside. At first, all I saw was snow rushing to the ground with almost no visibility. But then I saw something else. A figure walking through my backyard.
You got it.
My backyard was pretty big and didn't have a fence, so it wouldn't have been that unexpected if it weren't for the blizzard going on outside. Whoever was out there was just walking at a regular pace, going toward the end of my yard, before the snow and darkness took over any sight I had of them. I stayed by the window for a minute, trying to catch one more look and figure out what they were doing, but I didn't see anything. I was honestly scared for them, but also couldn't see why they'd be out there at all. The end of my yard that they were walking to led to a road, but it wouldn't get them anywhere for miles, which was not doable on foot. I went back to the TV, but I still couldn't help thinking about it. And only 5 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. I went over and cracked it open.
The only thing you need to be cracking open is that booty hole with some condoms. Because it's going to be rough when you get up inside. Because what you cracking shit open for?
It was a man in a heavy winter jacket. His nose was bright red, and his face was pale white.
That's tough! You talking about it's a man. I don't care. I don't care if it's a man, a woman, a child. You know, I'm iffy if it's a dog, because I'm a dog lover. I don't care if it's a she-male, a male she. You know, I don't care if it's a transsexual. I don't care if it's one of them people you know, I don't care what you are. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. I don't care how old you are. You got no business being on my property. Club. I don't care how hard it is snowing outside. It can be negative 5 degrees. Cold as shit. Tough.
Like he'd been out in the cold for a while.
Oh.
I couldn't know if this was the same person I'd seen in my backyard.
It is.
But my immediate guess was that it was. "How can I help you?" I asked. The man let out a humble smile and spoke through shaking teeth that he was waiting for a ride to pick him up, and asked if he could stay in my house for a few minutes to shelter from the cold, just until the ride got here.
A few minutes? Well, you was already outside for 2 hours straight. What's 5 minutes? You good. Close the door in the face.
I took a moment to respond, because I actually considered it, given the state of the weather. It's easy to say that under no circumstance would you let a random man inside your house.
Or woman, or somebody that identifies.
But when they're practically freezing to death on your doorstep and asking for your help, the answer on what to do isn't as black and white.
Yeah, it is.
I told him he could wait on my porch, which had an overhang that blocked the snow, and offered to give him an old jacket of mine if he needed it. The man didn't look too happy, but just nodded and went off to the side and sat on the chair I had out there. I closed and locked the door, then went upstairs to grab my old jacket. It was way too big for me and was in horrible condition, but obviously that shouldn't matter in this kind of scenario.
I'm saying.
I picked it up and walked downstairs, about to unlock the door and open it, but something stopped me just a moment before. I don't know what it was, but it made me hesitate. I leaned over and looked through the peephole. The man was now standing right up against the door with his hand on the handle, like he was preparing to push it open as soon as I unlocked it. I felt my heart rate increasing as I took a couple steps back and quietly pulled my phone out to dial 911.
You know what would have been awesome for you to do? I think the little boy did this in Home Alone. I don't know how if this would actually work, but he said he had his hand on a door handle. I'm pretty sure it's metal. So what if like you just heated up the door handle on the inside? Wouldn't it, if it could, it'd be dope if it got hot, if the other side of the door, if the handle on the outside got hot. Ow. That'd be so dope.
As I whispered into the phone, I just stared at the door with wide eyes, knowing what was waiting for me on the other side. Once the police said they were on their way, I slowly crept over and looked out again. The man wasn't there, not on my porch or anywhere in my front yard. He was just gone, like he knew that I had called the police. Nothing else was found that night, and no sign of him ever showed up again. What he would have done if I had opened the door, I can't be sure of, but hopefully he never comes back.
He might not, but he probably has acquaintances and friends that told him about that. Why am I saying that weird? He probably had some cluck friends that he told them about you. There we go. I don't know why that took me so long to say.
I was visiting my family for the holidays last year.
Right.
They live 15 hours away.
Jesus
and I
Christ!
really tried to tough it out.
I was not expecting you to say that. I thought you were about to say like 15 minutes.
One long drive, but this year's snow had come early and made driving a lot slower, so I was prepared to stop at a hotel somewhere along the way. I didn't book anything in advance, since I didn't know how far I'd get before wanting to stop. I was just going to pull into wherever and see if they had a room available. When I left, it was barely snowing, but the further out I got, the more snow seemed to be coming down. Roads were still clear, but everyone was definitely driving more slow and carefully. Around 8 hours into the drive, I still hadn't made it halfway there. I was getting frustrated as it was already 9 p.m. and it was just taking so long. I should have been over halfway there at this point, but now I felt like I had to keep going so that my drive tomorrow wouldn't be even longer. The snow had let up a little bit, but it still had accumulated on the road because there were no plow trucks. I drove as long as I could, making it to 12 a.m.
Niggas can't see shit. Damn. That looks like, I don't know how black space is, but you know, when I hear when I hear people say, oh, you as black as space, or that's as black as space, or like comparing something as black as space, I feel like, cause look at like bro, like, damn, you can't see nothing.
Before deciding I'd had enough and needed some sleep, I pulled off the next exit and into a small...
Motel, hotel, cluckness is in. Nah.
Motel parking lot. It was a long one-story building with 10 or so rooms. As expected, it wasn't the nicest looking place. The outside looked really old, and even the lights on the sign were dim and half burnt out.
Jesus.
I parked in a random place near the rooms and got out, walking up to the main entrance area. Inside, it was a very small room with a front desk, but there was a sign propped up on a counter. It said, "Be back in 15, with a little picture of a coffee cup on it.
Be back at 15? That doesn't make any sense. You probably put that sign up 2 hours ago.
The chances of me arriving while the worker was taking their break just showed my lack of luck on this drive. I walked out and back to my car, but this time, when I looked around the parking lot, I noticed something that I hadn't before. It was completely empty. I stood there in the cold and looked for a minute and didn't see a single car. And from the looks of it, it didn't look like any cars had even been in the parking lot tonight. I got back in my car and turned on the heat to warm up while I waited. Seeing no cars and nobody at the desk had me second guessing whether the sign was actually for someone taking a break. There were no places within 15 minutes anyway, so I don't know where they could have driven off to if they were taking a break. I sat back and tried to think of what to do next, but my eyes and head were so tired and I ended up passing out in my seat.
Jesus.
When I woke up, a few hours must have passed. The snow had started pouring down again, and the wind was making my car sway. I sat up and looked toward the front entrance of the motel, but immediately made eye contact with a man peering in through my window. I jolted back as he stepped away and yelled something toward the parking lot. I looked behind him, seeing a truck on the other side. Another man got out of the driver's side and started walking up. The one by me then walked around my car, trying all the door handles. I snapped out of it and put my car in reverse, trying to back out, before the wheels spun under me. Now the men were moving quicker, one yelling at the other to come over to his side and break the back window. I continued moving my car back and forth, trying to get through the thick patch of snow, but the sudden shattering of the back window only made it harder.
Damn.
I was trying everything now, as one of the men was reaching in for the door handle, and just when he put half of his body through the window and opened the door, I finally got traction and spun the car around. The man fell out, and the other tried to get in his truck to follow me as I turned the car and made my way out of the parking lot. Once I was back on the road, though, they stopped following me. Although I don't feel like it was entirely my fault, I definitely should have not let myself fall asleep in that parking lot, especially in the middle of nowhere like that. What those men had planned could have been anything. They were obviously prepared though, and it almost seemed like they knew that this motel parking lot was an easy place to target people. But whatever it was, I'll probably never know.
You know, you would have been better off dozing off and getting into a car accident. I'm sorry. That's not funny. Than staying anywhere on a motel property. Even a 5-star motel is better than a 1-star, no. Even a 1-star hotel is better than a 5-star hotel, a motel.
For the past couple years, I've worked on Uber Eats during winter break.
Jesus.
College lets out for a whole month, and Uber Eats is the easiest work to do without having to go through job interviews and all that stuff. Besides, I didn't work during school, so this was something simple to pick up on the holidays. It was a few weeks out from Christmas when this happened. This night it was snowing pretty heavily, but I really couldn't be picky with what days to work since I only had this set amount of time off.
Huh, bro, like, why you driving? Why y'all driving? Why y'all driving? The roads is non-existent. It looks like you just driving on snow. To be honest, it don't even look like a road. It looks like people just made a way just by driving, and y'all gonna drive on that. It could be that all could be dirt, to be honest, but it's probably not because I can, But like, damn.
To make enough money to last until the next break, I borrowed my dad's pickup truck and started driving. The snow must have kept a lot of other drivers home because I was getting orders all night. Big ones too, the kind that pay a lot. I did this for probably a good 3 hours, and then an order came in to pick up from a drive-through place.
Jesus!
The house was 20 minutes from me, but the tip and everything was really good. There honestly wasn't anything unusual or off about this order.
Really? Because it looks like you getting it from McDonald's, and unless he's just showing a random restaurant, that's everything wrong with this story. That's clucked with this story. You better not be getting no order from McDonald's.
Just as any other was. I picked it up and went on my way to the house. From a quick look at the map, it looked like it was in a pretty nice neighborhood on the other side of the county. I'd been around there before, but not really inside the neighborhoods. By this time, it was 11 p.m., and a lot of snow had started to stack up on the roads. I was also getting tired, so I agreed with myself that this would be the last delivery, and then I'd go home and work again tomorrow. Once I got to the neighborhood, I drove through the street and looked at the houses as I passed by. They were all huge and had a ton of land between each of them, but none of the houses seemed to be very new. They had that typical older mansion style of basically just being really large and nothing else. Anyway, it took a while to get to the address I was supposed to deliver to. The driveway was covered in at least a foot of snow, so I parked on the road. While I got out and walked up to the house, getting snow all over my pants and shoes, I noticed no lights were on in the windows.
Man. If you don't just, because now you're risking your life getting out, now you risking, you got snow and shit on you, like you getting wet, like, is Uber Eats gonna pay for that? Cause I'm gonna need y'all to cough up some money, I'm good about $50,000. I kid you not, man. I keep telling y'all this. In these like delivery services, I'm launching that food. I am. Like, hell no.
There was a piece of paper taped to the front door. Once I got up to the porch,
I would have even never got that far. Nope. I probably would have stopped at the mailbox, put your shit in the mailbox, and if it can't fit, tough.
I took a closer look. On the top of the page, it said notice in big red font, and the first few lines stated it was issued by the county. But before I got too far in, I heard footsteps crunching in the snow behind me. I turned around, seeing a man approaching me, coming from around the garage. He had a short buzz cut and was wearing a dirty jacket. "Just dropping off your order," I said to break the silence. But the man continued walking up without saying anything.
Oh no.
Once he was a few feet away, I could tell there was something off about him. I guess it was just a gut feeling. He looked at me with cold and tired eyes, then held his hand out for the bag. I reached over and gave it to him, but he didn't move.
Man.
He was standing right on the path leading.
You not moving? You don't want to move? Really? How about now? Huh? Oh, okay. Yeah. Say something else. Do some cluck shit.
To the driveway, and as the seconds passed, I realized how completely strange it was for him to even be out here, and even more so that he wasn't heading inside now that he had the bag. "Have a good night, sir," I said, stepping to the side and starting to walk past him. The man stayed where he was, before abruptly turning, and in the corner of my eye, it looked like he swung his arm out as if trying to grab me. I stumbled back and faced him as he began stepping toward me, saying, "Come with me,"
What?
while reaching his...
I'm not coming. Pause. Anywhere with you. Oh, you nasty. Oh.
hand out. I kept moving back as fast as I could in the thick snow, and the man continued to chase me, yelling at me to stop running. Once I got a good footing, I was able to outrun him and get in my car, backing out before he even had the chance to get to me. As I drove off, I looked in my mirror and saw the man standing in the driveway and just watching. I called the cops once I was out of the neighborhood, but the man was already gone. Later that night, though, they told me that the house wasn't currently owned by anyone at the moment, which I assumed the note on the door had something to do with. What the man was trying to do is unknown, but that whole situation has put me on edge whenever I pull up to a house with all the lights off, wondering if it might be the same man.
No. Hell no. Uber Eats, was it Postmates, was it DoorDash, any of them junks, I'm not. I think even if I was to do DoorDash or Uber Eats or any of these like food delivery services, if I ever get like a order and I see it on a map and there's nothing else around it, or if I get an order and it says, deliver at like 3 o'clock in the morning from McDonald's, get it from McDonald's. No. At most, I'll get the shits and either leave it at your mailbox, or I'm throwing it because I'm not about to come all the way down to you. I'm not coming to your doorstep. I'm not. Because if you got the front door cracked, you got it. If you got a note somewhere on the door that says "come inside," you got it. If I'm in front of your house, in front of your doorstep, and I hear some shit, you got it. I kid you not. I probably, if I was to order, like download Uber Eats or like DoorDash or something, they probably would have fired me, or they probably like would have let me go off their app or something. Cause I'm not with the shits. I'm not. I cannot do it. But that's just me. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy. Bye, family.